Hello, my name is Lieutenant Jared Alden from the Akron Fire Department in Akron, Ohio. I currently function as a fire lieutenant, a paramedic, and a tactical SWAT medic for the Akron Police Department. I've been doing that now with them for about 12 years. I love the job. It's a great job, and I get to help out our brothers and sisters in blue. So first off, I wanted to discuss the fact that I'm going to be teaching this exact course that I've taught at various conferences around the United States at FDIC in April of 2022. So the stuff that I'm going to discuss real quick in this video is stuff that you're going to hear in the course, in that 4-hour course, but obviously in a lot more detail, and we're going to add some practical application stuff during that course as well. But first off, at least in the tactical realm, we have 3 different zones of care. We have the hot zone, which is called the red zone. We have the warm zone, and then we have the blue zone, or the tactical evacuation zone. So various modalities of treatment and care and assessment are happening in these various zones. So for example, in the hot zone, if the operator gets injured, which now he's on the X, you have to get that injured operator off of that X and render care as fast as you can. In the warm zone, you're usually going to be at the rally point. Okay, the rally point is where, okay, now we've extricated this individual off of the X, and now they're back, usually a house or 2 away from the target house. And now we're rendering various types of care, more invasive care. It could be intubation, could be IO, IV, could be pain management, splinting, things of that nature. And then the blue zone, or the tactical evacuation zone, now this is where we have more hands on deck. It's all hands on deck. This is where we look at more in-depth rapid trauma assessments, detailed trauma assessments, and also ongoing trauma assessments. And as you know, the ongoing assessment is usually the most important, because whatever treatment that you enacted earlier in the red and the warm zone, now that may change because of movement, for example. So let's say you move an injured operator, and now you have a tourniquet that has slipped off of the extremity. Maybe it got caught on something, maybe the muscles contracted and constricted and things of that nature. So now you need to reassess what you've already done. Okay, well, how did SWAT get into all this? How did they get into recognizing the need for needing tactical medics as close as they could to them? Well, again, best practices, past practices. Research has been done on this. Research mainly done by the committee of TCCC and the committee of TECC. So TCCC came from the military, which was adopted by the civilian community, the civilian EMS and SWAT community. So TCCC stands for Tactical Combat Casualty Care. And then TECC stands for Tactical Emergency Casualty Care, which is what we go by. That's what we use. And again, they recognize the need that we need medical personnel up on that X, as close as they can get on that X. Some departments put medics in the stick or the stack. Some keep them back at the rally point. But they recognize that need, that EMS is needed as soon as possible. And we know, for example, let's say you get a femoral artery bleed. How fast can you bleed out from that? Well, the answer is very, very fast. Could be anywhere from 1 minute to 2 to even 3 minutes, okay? But let's say, for argument's sake, they're going to bleed out in 1 minute. Well, what do? Okay, if it's a femoral artery nick, okay, well, where at? Is it in the leg? Is it upper thigh? Okay, or is it in the junctional area? So if it's in the junctional area, what do? We have to pack that wound. Okay, we also have to worry about tension pneumothoraces, or a pneumothorax. We have to worry about that, because usually in the tactical setting, that's about 33% of the time. That's going to be what the injury is. Extremity trauma is about 60% of the time, just because the arms and legs aren't covered like they are in the chest area or the junctional area. And then about 6% of the time is going to be due to some kind of airway compromise, and that could be from a blast, for example. It could be that the operator or the victim was rendered unconscious. Now, what's the biggest obstruction of the airway? It's the tongue, right? If they're obtunded, or if they're actually, totally passed out with, loss of consciousness or LOC. So those are just various things that we have to take into consideration in the tactical setting. We also have to take into the factor that we have to make a medical threat assessment. Every time we go out, we have to construct a medical threat assessment with our medical control, which is one of our doctors that's usually on scene with us. Or if she's off scene, or if he's off scene, then we have to collaborate with them to come up with a medical threat assessment. Could be, are there dogs, are there children, are there elderly in the area? What's the weather like? Is it too cold? Is it too hot? So these are just various things that we as paramedics have to take into account. So you're going to hear a lot more about this. I'm excited. I hope you guys come, and I hope you guys have a great time. So I'll see you there in April, FDIC 2022. Be safe. Thank you.